Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Hello, hello, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. No worries.
I did worry for a few seconds.
Mm.
I almost lost it.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I just had to sort my headphones out real quick, but I'm ready to go.
That's good. That's good. That's what we like. Uh, okay, so hello and welcome for coming. Thank you for doing this with me today.
No worries.
All right, so we start with a little introduction. You can say anything you want about yourself, okay? Anything,
Cool.
anything you want. It's up to you what you share.
All right. So hi guys, my name is Ali. I'm 24 years of age. I was born 3 months prematurely, and as a result, I was diagnosed with something called cerebral palsy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an athlete. I do a martial art called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I also weight train as well. And I basically created my page to sort of put people with disabilities in a more positive light and maybe challenge some of the stereotypes that come with like having a disability and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'd say about myself.
Yes, that's a good introduction. I mean, I have plenty of questions to ask you, so one step at a time. Okay, so I wanted to ask, is that something that you can actually develop later on in life, or is it something that you can only be born with?
No, so with cerebral palsy, it either occurs during birth or it can occur shortly after birth.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't develop it later on.
Okay. And is it something, so as a condition, like how does it affect you, like your body, like your everyday life?
Well, the thing with cerebral palsy is that it's such a broad term. So, cerebral palsy affects different people differently. So someone might be more severe than I am. Someone might be like milder. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, in the most severe cases, it can even lead to breathing difficulties and stuff. So, um, the babies can actually die shortly after birth from having it, but that's only like in the most severe cases.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, so the type of cerebral palsy that I have is called spastic diplegia,
Mm-hmm.
which basically means that it affects my lower body more than my upper body. Um, and basically, what cerebral palsy is pretty much a form of brain damage
Mm-hmm.
due to a lack of oxygen reaching the brain
Mm-hmm.
when you're being born.
Yeah.
Um, so the part that's responsible for like um, the part of the brain that's responsible for like motor control, balance, and coordination is affected. But in the most severe cases, it can affect other areas as well, like swallowing, breathing, speech, that sort of thing.
So it's not something that, for example, your parents might have, and then it falls. in the next like generations?
No, it's not genetic. So if I were to have children, I wouldn't pass my disability onto them.
Okay.
It's not genetic.
So are there, because as you said, every person that has it might have it in a different way. So
Yes.
let's say categories of it, like with, because I think I found something similar, like when I was doing some research about it, and I think there are like some categories that.
Yes, there are. Yes. So there's something called a GMFCS scale.
Okay.
Um, so that scale basically categorizes you um, based on like certain tasks or motor skills that you can do.
Yeah.
Um, the scale is broken down into 5 levels,
Hmm.
with 5 being the most severe and 1 being the least severe.
And is that something that can worsen it in time? Like, do you have to go and like have some check throughout the, like maybe annually, or how does?
I think the thing with cerebral palsy is that it doesn't necessarily worsen over time, but
Okay.
the symptoms that you can get with it, so
Mm-hmm.
like muscle tightness, that sort of thing, can the symptoms can worsen over time if you don't treat it or be active,
Mm-hmm.
and that can in turn then have an effect on what you're able to do. So it doesn't get worse in the conventional sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not a progressive disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you don't manage the symptoms, they can have a detrimental impact.
Okay. What? Okay. So I mean, obviously, as you said, like each person has it differently. Like 1 until 5 being the most severe one. But how would it affect you? So let's say about you now, because obviously I have you here for the life.
Yeah.
um, so what would be like? Do you have like pains maybe throughout the day? Like what? Um, like your side of the story, let's say.
Um, Luckily, I don't get much pain during the day, like if at all. I mean, the only pain I get is from like working out and training, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which everybody gets. So that's not exclusive to me.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, it affects my lower body. So like my knees are they're not straight. They're sort of like in a fixed position.
Yeah.
And it basically means that I can walk around indoors using a frame or crutches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like for longer distances, I need to use a wheelchair. Um, yeah,
So, but you do all these sports, so that, as you say, it actually makes it, because you said it can't get worse, but it helps in some way if you are. I mean, it's the same, I guess, with all of us. Like if you are healthy and try to go to the gym and everything, it's gonna help you with everyday life.
yeah, exactly.
But
Um,
yes, is that something that helps? Like, can you see like a big difference if, for example, I don't know, I don't know how often you exercise, so
so
maybe.
I train 6 times a week. So
Okay.
I weight train 3 times a week, and I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 3 times a week. And it definitely helps like minimize the effects of my condition. Because obviously like your strength goes up, your balance improves, flexibility, all that stuff, which in turn means that I can be like more independent,
Mm-hmm.
um, and things like that, which is great because like that's well, at least that's what I want anyway. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
as independent as possible. So and anything that contributes towards that is brilliant.
Yes, for sure. But is there any, because I have no idea, that's why I'm asking. I know might be a silly question, not, is there
Yeah.
medication you can actually take to help you in some way? I mean, for,
There are when it comes to things like muscle spasticity. So basically that is where your muscles are like overly tight.
yeah.
Um, and that's to do with like the signals from the brain
Hmm.
to your muscles. Um, so what you can do is basically take muscle relaxants,
Hmm.
um, which kind of help alleviate the spasticity, so they help the muscles relax. But because I don't get painful spasms, like the spasms don't cause me any pain or anything, I don't really need to take any medication.
Okay. Um, is there a sport? Because I mean, I'm going to ask you about the sports that you do, but in general, like they say, for example, that if you have joint pains, let's say, that swimming helps. Is there a sport or something that could help people that have it to ease like muscle pain or something like that?
No, I think like obviously some sports are more accessible than others, I'd
Mm.
say, but like my biggest piece of advice is like there's always a way to adapt something uh, in my book. So the main thing is that because if you want to see improvement, the main thing is consistency.
Mm.
So like my biggest piece of advice would be just find something that you enjoy,
Hmm.
like pester people, because that's what you have to do. Like when you're asking around to find a sports club or somebody that's willing to adapt certain things, that can take um, quite a lot of pestering because some people are like apprehensive when it comes to that sort of thing. Because a lot of the time it's easier to say no, like we don't accommodate.
Yeah.
Um, because it does take more thinking and a bit more. You have to be able to think outside the box and think creatively. So um, I'll just say take your time, pester people, find something you enjoy and go after that because like if you enjoy something, you're gonna be consistent and it's the consistency that brings about positive results. So yeah,
That's so true. It is because yeah, as you say, if you enjoy something, you're gonna chase after it and try to be, as you say, consistent and try your best, like to achieve that.
yeah.
But okay, so how easy was it to actually get into sports? Because from what I'm guessing from your posts that you have a personal trainer.
Yeah, I've got a PT
Mm-hmm.
and he's great like because he when I started working with him we instantly clicked because he wasn't like because a lot of people when they work with me at first they're like very apprehensive
Mm.
um and they're a bit scared um but he wasn't like that. He just said like, right, what do you want to do? I said, oh, this is what I want to do. And he was like, right, uh, let's get to it. And we just adapt certain things and work with certain things. But he really pushes me, and that's what you want. Um, like you don't want somebody feeling sorry for you or being apprehensive
Okay.
because you're in a certain situation. And a lot of the time, people tend to think that you're fragile as well
Yeah.
for some reason. Like so before I found this personal trainer, I had another guy that came in,
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh, what weight do you do?" I said, "Oh, I can use 15 kg dumbbells for like bicep curls."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he was like, "Oh, well, why don't you try these 2 kilo dumbbell first?" And I just turned to him and I said, "Look, 2 kilos is it's too easy." Like, and he was like, "Oh, just try it." And I showed him my page and I was like, "Look, I do all these weights and do jujitsu. Like, I'll be fine." And he just looked very, very confused, um, and just a bit shocked, uh, and still got me to do the light weights after all that. So, yeah, some people are a bit apprehensive,
Mm-hmm.
but you shouldn't be. You should gauge a person's ability and go from there. It, a person's circumstances don't matter in that sense. You should look at their ability and base it off what you see rather than what you think. That
Mm-hmm.
because that's the issue. A lot of people see me and they base like their assumptions based on what they think, um, and then that's what creates this whole apprehensiveness. But my current PT, he wasn't like that at all. He was like, "Okay, let's see what we're working with," and we've just built from there. We have a great relationship because um, he also gears my training towards my jujitsu, so everything
Okay.
kind of helps.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but so having that condition, does it affect your bones as in being more fragile or not?
No, not at all. Not at all. My bones aren't affected at all in that sense. I mean, even in BJJ, we do a lot of sparring, and
Hmm.
when we spar, like I'll get put in submissions and I'll get put in some really bad positions. Um, and people don't hold back or anything. Um, so yeah, I'm not fragile at all. I'm quite tough actually. And I don't really give up easily either. I'm very stubborn when it comes to my training. So yeah.
No, that's good. I'm just wondering because you're the personal trainer that came in. Because as you said, most people think like, oh, maybe you're fragile or, try the 2 kilos first, even though you can't do like 5 times, 6 times, whatever more.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I'm thinking maybe they're basing it on something, but as you say, it doesn't work like that. They just
Yeah, it doesn't
they,
work like that, yeah.
uh, but that's the thing. The whole thing that what I'm trying to do with Face the Elephant is exactly that. That to educate people about different topics because that's the thing, not a lot of people know. Like the same as you say, like he based it just because he saw you. He was like, oh, he might be fragile.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
opposite.
Yeah, I'm the opposite thing to fragile. So yeah, I mean, and that's why I wanted to hop on this
Hmm.
live, because when I saw what you were doing with Ashley, who's a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
by the way, um, like I was like, oh, I want to hop on as well because like I love doing this sort of thing, um, just like putting my story out there and everything, so that people can become a bit more aware, because that's what a lot of these issues are about. It's about the fact that people aren't aware, and we need to do what we can to change that. So it's fantastic what you're doing as well, because um, and it's not only disabled people that need
Mm,
to be doing this. Like able-bodied people need to help out as well. It has to be a collective thing.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree, and I've said this at almost every live that I've done. Like it even starts from like things from the government. Like you don't see people in the government that have like maybe they're in a wheelchair or whatever. But why don't you have? And even at the end of the day, like because they can't decide about things. Like they can decide about things that like as simple as having a ramp at a cinema. Because I
Yeah,
said in the live that I had on Wednesday that I was working in this place that it was for so the wheelchair couldn't fit the door actually. But you were saying that we need to have people in with wheelchairs, but then
yeah,
if the wheelchair, so the ones that are electric, the big
yeah,
ones,
yeah.
so that wouldn't be able to fit through the door. So at the end of the day, you want people with wheelchairs in, but they can't actually come if the wheelchair is bigger than the door, which makes no sense.
Right. Yeah,
So it's even things like that because you're making people that are able, that they're not in a wheelchair or whatever, to decide for them instead of going out and actually asking them.
yeah, exactly. Like you need people that have experienced the same thing that even things like so the wheelchair service over here in the UK
Mm-hmm.
that the NHS provide is a bit rubbish because when you go to get fitted for your wheelchair,
Yeah.
the guy that is fitting you in a wheelchair has never been in a wheelchair himself.
Okay. So
So
that's
the
yeah.
and it's always like so the way they do it is like okay, small, medium, or large, but that you can't work it like that because what if I'm in between a small and a medium?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like your wheelchair has to be measured to your exact measurements. You can't just have it as a kind of general
Uh,
standard thing.
as if it's a
Um,
cloth that you just can throw out after.
yeah,
But yeah, but they don't do that because obviously it's pricey to actually do that.
yeah, it's pricey and it's more work. So
But I
yeah,
don't like obviously the people that like the most people in our population in general, not only in UK, are not on a wheelchair. So obviously it's not much of a heated topic.
yeah,
But it's the same thing with like anything. Like people don't really care until they have to, you know what I mean? Like if someone, for example, yes, is not born in like needing to have a wheelchair and then has an accident, then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, yeah, I never noticed that there's no ramp there, or that the wheelchairs are made in a certain way that as you say, medium, small, medium, large, and or for example, if they have a child and the child needs a wheelchair, and it's not only about wheelchairs. I'm just giving it as an example
yeah, yeah.
that they're gonna be actually okay, yeah, maybe we need to do something about this. But that's the thing, that we shouldn't leave it until that happens to actually care.
Exactly. It should be in place already.
I don't know, I mean, I know we are getting better as a society with things, so it's not how it used to be like years back that if you were on wheelchair you need to be at your house and that's it. But so I know we are getting better in things, like even in sports, and even like everyday things. But I feel there's so much things that need to be done still, that like there's such a long road that we need to head towards.
Yeah.
But what would you like to, so I ask this to everyone that I do the live, what would you like to change in the society, like in general? It doesn't have to be one thing. So what would you like to see different?
Um, I mean, if I was to pick one thing, I'd say that the thing that I'd want to change from me is I'd like people's views to change to the point where, you know, they're not surprised to see like a person in a wheelchair in the gym, for example, or or like even when I go to clubs,
Mm-hmm.
and I go out with my friends, there's always people that come up to me like, oh, thank you. They say, oh, thank you for being out here. Like, thank you for being outside. You're an inspiration. And I'm just like, what? You're calling me an inspiration because I'm going out to a club. So I want society to get to the point where like we're not applauded for like existing and and just doing normal things because it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
And this is what I've always said. I've always said, um, like, call me an inspiration when I've done something that's actually worth calling me an inspiration for, rather than
Mm-hmm.
just normal things. And also, the second thing I always ask people is that, um, if I am an inspiration, what exactly have I inspired you to do? And if they can't give me an answer, it means that um, they're calling me an inspiration for the wrong reasons, because otherwise they'd be able to give me an answer. So that's what I would like to change, just like people's kind of views of those that have disabilities.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, and I've heard it in other lives also. People saying that. Um, because we are not used to like people are like, I get the people that are saying that, like I get the sort of the kind of like how they think of it, but at the same time it's because we have, as you say, in our minds that if someone is in a wheelchair, like, because we are used to, I mean, as I say, things are getting better, but because the older generation, if you had like a disability, you were usually like, you would live with your parents, or you would live in some like facility or something.
Yeah,
So now, because that's changing, that's why people are saying like, oh, look, he's going to the gym, why can't I like move and go to the gym? But that's the thing, it's for the wrong reasons, as you say.
yeah,
um I do like applaud like the, people that say it in a nice way. I get it, like there is a nice point of view to it.
yeah, yeah.
But as you say, obviously it depends how you say it and for what reasons and all that. So I think
Exactly. It's context. Context is very important when it comes to this sort of thing.
so I wanted to ask you about as like your sports. How did you get into jiu-jitsu?
Um, so I've always been into martial arts since I was a child.
Okay.
And I'm like, I've always been fascinated with like East Asian culture. Like it's something that I've always loved. I'm actually learning Japanese at the moment,
Okay.
and I hope to start a master's in it in September.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, and then I basically, so I've done various martial arts in the past as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like before COVID, I started doing some research into like different martial arts and my condition.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically found out that because jujitsu involves a lot of groundwork and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's really suited to those with disabilities.
Okay.
So that was the first thing. Um, and the second thing was that I'd come across like one or two forums where people said that their condition like improved ever so slightly
Hmm.
as a result of starting it. Um, but the most important thing for me was that because I'm quite a competitive guy.
Oh,
Um, so
yeah.
like when I realized that there's an opportunity for me to compete, because I've always wanted to like take part in a competitive sport since I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've never really had that chance because I could never find a sport that would allow me to do that. So as soon as I realized there's a chance for me to compete, I was like, oh, let's go.
So how long have you been doing that?
So I actually started on the 25th of May.
Okay, so last year.
Um, last year, yeah.
Okay, okay. So can you actually, well, let wait, because I have a lot of questions for it. How easy was it to actually find a sport that can accommodate like your needs? Because as you said also, I mean, in general, it's difficult to find sports that, are willing to assist and help and everything. Usually, you just find a team, it's football or basketball or whatever, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah.
I think in terms of me, um, like with the academy that I go to now, it was relatively easy, purely because like they were so accommodating, um, and like um, so it was funny because I wanted to start jujitsu pre-COVID, um, but obviously COVID hit, and then I couldn't start. Um, and it was so around March last year,
Mm-hmm.
I was on Instagram and I ran across like our sensei's profile. Um, and I basically, because we happen to be following like some of the same people,
Okay.
and I basically realized that because my parents are Iranian,
Mm-hmm.
so I've got like Persian heritage.
Yes.
And I basically realized that he's the same as me in terms of like he's got Persian heritage as well, but he's grown up in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in that sense, I thought, okay, like, well, he's gonna be a bit more because he's so understanding of like our culture and stuff. I thought we'd have like a bit more common ground.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just contacted him in March and because he happened to be on an Instagram live. So I just hopped on and I was like, "Yo, dudes, like my name's Ali. This is my situation. Like I want to train." And
Mm-hmm.
then we got in contact and basically sorted it. Um, and I went down to the academy with my mum
Mm-hmm.
to meet him and stuff. And yeah, the rest is history, basically. I got started and I haven't looked back since. But yeah, he's a great guy. Everyone at the academy is super nice as well. Um, it's a brilliant environment to be in. Um, so yeah,
Okay. I mean, that's the best part, I think, when you actually go to a team and the environment is amazing and the coach is amazing because I mean, we get into sports to actually enjoy ourselves and be.
exactly.
So if you're gonna go there and not have fun, like it's not really worth it at the end of the day.
No, that's the most important thing. Is that you enjoy what you're doing, and that you're in a environment that basically allows you to flourish.
Yes, for sure. And that's something that you could like later on get into. because as you said, you're competitive, you always want to get into that. Could you later on go to like games and matches and all that? Is that something that is
Yeah,
there?
yeah. I'm actually like looking to compete for the first time this year
Okay.
at some point. And I'll be competing against able-bodied people and disabled people. So I'll be doing both. So it's gonna be very exciting.
You better train well then. You
Nah, yeah, I'm training hard. Like my friends know that I take my training very very seriously. Like I work. I've got a physiotherapist as well.
Mm.
Um, like I also work with a sports nutritionist. So like I'm basically training like a full-on athlete. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
You need to let us know when the matches are on, and then we can like come and be groupies. And
Yeah, well, I mean, like, a lot of these matches are like, they're broadcast online anyway. So if it's
okay.
at if it's at an event where it's gonna be online,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get as many people to watch as possible. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
No, I would love to watch, like, whether to actually. I mean, I always prefer to go. So if that would be like a thing, definitely you need to post about it because I will be there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that's amazing. Like to be able to get into something like that, and you were pretty lucky with it because you actually managed to find a really good team straight away.
yeah. No, I was really lucky. I was really lucky, and it's weird because normally when I enter a new environment, like I'm very, very nervous, but the first time I met our sensei, like I felt like I'd known him for years because we had so much in common. So he's into like Japanese and anime and stuff like me. Um, my I was on the way home with my mum, and she actually said to me like, "Oh, you two are like long lost twins or something." Like she said he's exactly the same as you, just older. I was like, "Yeah, I know," and like we've got an amazing relationship. Um, like he's more than just a sensei to me. I look up to him as kind of like an older brother as well. Um, and yeah, it's brilliant to have that sort of relationship.
That is open book says hi there. Hello also.
Hello, hello. Open Book is an awesome platform, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
just to give them a shout out. Big up to James and Chris. They're doing an amazing job, but they know that already. So yeah,
Need to check them out after a live. I will go and find out about open book. You need to
yeah, yeah.
you need to suggest anime. What is the best anime to watch? Okay.
Well, my favorite anime is actually Dragon Ball Z.
That was easier than I thought. I thought you were gonna say one that I have never cared about or something.
No, no, no. So Dragon Ball Z is actually the thing that got me into like it basically started my love for Japanese culture and martial arts. All came from there.
The big
Um,
yeah. Uh,
yeah, so yeah.
okay. Okay. So my last question is, um, what would you like advise or say to someone that maybe they're a teenager, maybe they're like I don't know older. What would be your advice to them? Like if they're going through something similar. with you, but maybe they don't have that motivation that you might have.
Right. The biggest advice that I can give is to like um learn to accept your situation and work with it.
Hmm.
Um, and be confident and comfortable in your own skin. Um, because if you're confident in your own skin, then um, people's perceptions of you and stuff like can't get to you because you'll be the only one that knows the truth, if you like.
Yes.
So then other people's words won't affect you as much, if that makes sense. So definitely like be confident and comfortable in your own skin would be like my biggest piece of advice. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there and try new things because you might stumble across something that you enjoy, and that's only gonna build your confidence. So yeah.
I think that's wow. That's a good advice. That's
Oh,
a
thanks a lot.
yes. No, I agree so much with that, and I was actually real talk that yes, exactly. I agree. That's what I was saying to a friend yesterday because I said that you can try something out that it could be anything. It could be like I don't feel like doing this. Like just try it out, and you never know where it can lead you because you might have fun with it like for a week and then get fed up with it, but then it might lead you in this other path and that you enjoy even more or you find out something about yourself that you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't go out there and do things like you will miss out on certain opportunities um, that you'll never know existed. So um, it's
Definitely.
always good to try.
And you never know who you might meet and where that might lead you. Like it's crazy. I don't know. I feel the potentials in life are are amazing. And I even noticed it like, it could be something as like going to a sport, like going starting a new hobby. It could be anything. I mean, even like when I started this with Face the Elephant, I never knew like how it can take me to one place to another, like and meet other people from around the world. So it's
Yeah,
amazing. You said you found your coach that you have your sensei that you have so many things in common and you have the same culture, like the background, and you met
yeah,
through like an Instagram live, which is crazy. You just hopped on and look where it led you. So
yeah. It was a complete accident. It was
yeah.
and we've not looked back from there. So yeah, you never know. You never know what could happen if you if you just put yourself out there. Um, so yeah.
I agree. I agree. Thank you so much for today. I appreciate it so much. It was lovely having you. I really hope
Mm.
maybe we will come at a match. Face the elephant. Then we can start a thing and we can all come.
Yeah, yeah, I'd appreciate that, and no worries. Like I'm always happy to come on and like do these lives. It's like I love it. I love putting my story out there and putting like some positivity out there when we've had a rough time with COVID and stuff. So
Oh,
yeah,
definitely. I mean, hopefully we're getting out of it. I don't know when. I mean, the moment we get a little hope, then it's like we shut down again. So I don't know when. But yes, I do appreciate that. I think we need more people like you spreading that positivity, because that's what we need, making life better in every possible way, educating people on different topics, as I said, because there's so many things people don't know about. I mean, there's things that you told me today that I didn't know about. So,
yeah, exactly. I mean, the main thing is that we pass on the knowledge that we have. That's arguably the most important thing because that's what creates awareness, which is what we need. So yeah, always happy.
yeah, we definitely need to have a to at some point, definitely. Spread some more awareness and positivity around the world.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Uh, Thank you so much again. It was lovely. You educated us about many topics, and hopefully we will speak again soon.
Yeah, sure, no worries at all. If you ever want me to come back on, like maybe with even with one of my coaches or something,
Yeah,
we
maybe we.
we can arrange that. So yeah, just let me know. I'll always be happy to come on.
Yeah,
It's not an issue.
that's a brilliant idea actually, because people that might have like cerebral palsy might think like, oh, you know what, I can't do sports, like, so maybe that would be a nice life to do, like as you say, and educate people that you can actually do it. And look, there's teams that are open to that, and it's
Yeah,
not that.
you've just if you don't ask, you're never gonna know.
Mhm.
So all you have to do is ask around.
Definitely, definitely. uh, so yes, thank you so much, and hopefully we will have you here again.
Cool. No worries. It was a pleasure to be on and speak. And I hope that this live was like good in terms of making people more aware. And yeah, always happy to do these things. So not a problem.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye bye.